Hey there, podcast lovers. Get ready to dive into a world of captivating conversations and mind-blowing insights. Welcome to the Alonzo Bash podcast, Real People, Real Conversations. From fascinating guests to thought-provoking topics, we're here to challenge your perspective and ignite your curiosity. Whether you're a long-time listener or joining us for the first time, buckle up for an experience that'll leave you craving more. Each episode will explore stories from some of your favorite entertainers, community leaders, entrepreneurs, and regular folks with some amazing stories. May even share a laugh or two. So, are you ready to expand your horizons? Let's kick things off with today's episode that's guaranteed to blow your mind. The Alonzo Bash podcast starts right now.
Greetings and welcome. Greetings and welcome to the Alonzo Bash podcast. I'm your host, Alonzo Bash, and today's special guest is a legend, just an icon in the reggae or the Trinidad and Tobago. Some people call him the farmer, some people call him the cowboy. First artist of the Trinidad to really hit that international stardom, man. Without further ado, welcome, brother.
Give thanks and to all the viewers, all the ears that hear, a pleasant good evening, and may God be with us wherever we are in this time. Blessing.
Yes. All right, baby. Well, first time we really link up face to face and so forth. Usually what I do, I like to get into people's background and stuff to kind of share the stories and share who you are as a person before you even get into the artistry, because a lot of times you see people and really don't know much about their background. You're a man, you grew up from the growing up in Enterprise Iguanas, am I correct?
Yeah, I was born in Port of Spain General Hospital, and I grew up in Enterprise Shogunas, a small community, but, most of the big athletes and the big, it's a small community, but it's, it's produced a lot of great people,
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I have an uncle that actually lives in Enterprise.
Yeah, definitely. So you should know, I mean,
Yeah,
Enterprise.
Yeah.
It's a nice community. It's a nice community. Lately, it's been plagued by a little bit of crime.
Yeah.
That crime is everywhere. So I do appreciate the fact that I came from Enterprise, and I am always advocate for peace and love in the price.
Yeah. What was it like growing up in Enterprise in them early years for you, like childhood days and stuff like that?
Well, my childhood days was a simple childhood. I had my friends. We were always together. We did everything together. Kenny might have told you this. We were heavily involved in soccer.
Okay.
This is where most of our discipline came from, by playing soccer. We had a coach that was strict on discipline and schoolwork, excel in those areas in order to play ball. Growing up for us was simple life. We could have gone to any house and have a meal. Any one of our friends, we could have gone to their house and sleep at night. And I grew up with a kind of open door policy where you never really had to close your doors at night, So it was a simple and a blessed life, I must say.
Yeah, nice. What was the family structure like? Where you fall into the the structure? First child, second child, mom and dad. What was it like?
Well, I'm in the middle of 12 kids.
Okay, wow.
So I'm dab smack in the middle. I'm number 6,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do
I'm
you know all
6
these
of.
siblings? You guys all grew up together? You guys all grew up together?
Yeah, we all grew in the same house.
Yeah.
I shared my room with my brother and one of my younger sister, and we had a small home, so we had to make it work. My father, he worked like 6 months in Canada and stayed in Trinidad like 6 months. So only 6 months at a time we got to be with our dad. Our mom was, she was the rock in the family.
Yeah. Wow. What about the your schooling, primary school days and all them kind of thing? What primary school you went to?
Yeah. I went to Shoguna's government primary school,
Yeah.
and then I went to Karapichaima Junior,
Okay.
and then I went to Shoguna's Senior Com. After that, I was heavily immersed into woodworking.
Okay.
Yeah, so I kind of made my own furnitures
Yeah.
and sold them on the side of the road. Yeah.
Wow.
As you see, I got
Yeah.
as you can see, I got a little trademark from it.
Oh man, wow! You know what? That's something I
Yeah.
never knew. All right, so for guys who is listening to podcasts, Alan just showed me his finger, well his hand rather, and he's actually missing a finger. I never knew he was missing a finger.
Yeah, that was a woodworking accident that I was trying to finish a set and
Yeah,
it got dark on me, And my shop wasn't the most lit up shop, I would
yeah.
say.
Wow,
Yeah, so I had an incident late in the evening, and yeah, I cut four of my fingers, and one had to be severed.
wow,
The
that's crazy.
other had to be one. I got an artificial joint in one of my finger. Growing up for me, yeah, I'm a man of, I've had a lot of mishaps growing up.
Yeah.
In my teen life, I used to work at the Angostura facility,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
I got burned with molasses and water
What?
from head to toe. Yeah,
See
yeah.
that?
Actually, I can't stay too much in the cold because my skin that I grew back,
Yeah.
the layer of skin that I grew back was thin.
Wow.
Oh my God, I'm seeing a snake right now, and I just want
Yeah.
to go and get it, but I gotta let it go. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You not power for real, man.
Yeah, yeah. This
You
snake is
come up.
in front of me.
Yeah.
I don't want to let it go, but I gotta let it go.
Oh, I mean, you'll take a break. You good?
Yeah, let me take a small break because I gotta deal with this by the house.
All right. All right. Yeah, you take a break.
Yeah, 1 sec. I'll be right back.
Yeah, man. Wow, that's crazy. So you saw a snake, yes? That's crazy.
Hi guys, PSA Baltimore, Washington, One Love, Caribbean Carnival 2025. Save the date. Sat July 12th and Sunday, July the 13th at Druid Hill Park, 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. Picture this, 2 days of non-stop Caribbean vibes. Parade of bands, festival featuring live entertainment by local and international artists and DJs, arts and crafts, Caribbean food, lots more. We're talking vibrant live music, including steel bands that will guarantee to make you move with the tastiest island flavors. It's the ultimate celebration of Caribbean culture, bringing the heat from the islands to the streets of More. Don't miss out on this unforgettable experience. One people, one love, one carnival. www.baltimorecarnival.org.
All right, he bolted on me. What a pretty guy, but very dangerous.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know when red touch black, what goes on? You
Oh
gotta
yeah,
stay
what
away
else?
from that.
Oh yeah, John Simon. I said take a break. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
man.
crazy.
There are a lot of poisonous snake in Costa Rica, and
Yeah.
so far I caught like three of them.
Okay, okay.
The thing about it is the most poisonous one I'm seeing.
Oh yeah, that's serious. That's serious.
Yeah, man. But it's all
All
good,
right.
it's nature.
Yeah,
They're mostly about their own business.
yeah. Wow. Well, we will get into
Yeah.
we will get into all of that. All right. So you see, you got burned. You see, you got burned. Yeah. I can still.
I was burned from head to toe. They rushed me to the hospital, but the molasses had stuck to my skin, and it was like 2 or 3 days I was burning still until
That's
they
crazy.
could get that molasses removed from my skin. So I have a
Mm.
couple different degree of burn on my skin.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So
That's
yeah,
crazy.
man, it's not that life was. I
Yeah.
guess life was preparing me for new things to come. So it's when I was in hospital in them time really got to thinking about what I wanted to do and stuff, to kind of make ends meet. So yeah,
Yeah.
singing was definitely on the list.
Yeah. Before we get back to that, I want to kind of step back a little bit with the woodworking shop and some of the furniture you had made. Some of these. So you say you had a shop. You had a shop on the main road area, or or something else?
Yeah, what enterprise?
So there's people right now in Trinidad that have furniture was made by Marlon Asher.
Oh, definitely. Not only furniture, but I made
Yeah.
a few things, that, people would today say, I still got the thing you made me. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Wow, that's
I
crazy,
made a
man.
few items that I sold. I had children young, so I
Yeah.
kind of dabble in different work to make ends meet back then.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Oh, yeah,
impressive.
yeah. Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. So you see, you're laying in the hospital, and at this point, you're reflecting on pretty much the direction of your life.
Yeah, yeah. What next for me? Because the woodworking, it was getting to be something that I couldn't stay in. I was getting allergic to the sawdust and having
Mhm.
allergic reactions to the
Yeah.
sawdust. So I was on the brink of leaving that profession and finding something new.
Yeah.
So when I
Yeah.
came out, I went and I self-taught myself masonry. I did pretty well at that. I built
How's
my
it?
house, me and my best friend, with my
Yeah.
own hands, So yeah, from
Wow.
foundation to finish. So yeah, I'm a handyman with a lot of job that around the house I could take care of.
Nice, 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 nice. All right. So you built a home there, and was it still in Shoguanas area?
Yeah, man, I still have my house. I got my kids living there. I had 7 kids up for,
Yeah.
of my own. And, my
Mm.
eldest died, but, the rest of them are
Hold on.
still there. Yeah, I
Mm.
got one son and, like my father had like 7 daughters and 3 sons. My mother had 7 daughters. My mother had
Mm.
6 daughters and 4 sons.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and then before that, they had one kid each. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so it rounded off to 12 children. And, we were all, we grew up together, boys and girls in the same house. And I came
Yeah.
and had children, and I had like 5 girls, 1 boy.
Oh, yeah. Very good.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so 1 boy,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
man. So, yeah, it was a blessing to,
Yeah. Yeah. The blessing, man. So you used to
Yeah.
having a big family. You came from that.
Yes, I have.
Are
Yeah,
you the
yeah.
only thing that's into music, or any other sibling picking it?
No. If I tell you about my siblings, you will be blown away. My youngest sister, the one that lived with me and my brother when we were back in home, she is actually a queen of Kaiso in Trinidad. Her name is Stacy Sobers.
Really?
She said, yeah, she's always a heavy hitter in the social commentary competition,
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Wow.
she won it. She won a few times, so she's up there. Last year, I think she did a tribute to one of the greats that passed,
All right.
in the
Stacey.
soca world, and she did well, Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Nice.
And my eldest brother, he toured the world playing his steel drums. He won the festival,
Uh-huh.
the individual pan shootout in the music festival. He won that. He won a few competitions, with
Yeah.
his pan. My father is a well-known Kaisonian too. He's called Joe Cool.
Oh yeah. Damn, I missed
Yeah,
that one,
man.
but Joe Cool. All right. Well, I can see where the name Joe Cool come from, because you're kind of cool, that guy, So I'm seeing this
Yeah,
similar.
yeah, exactly. So we've been in music all our life though, from a tender age. My father, every time he come from Canada, he would bring a different instrument. Hence the reason why my brother can play mostly any instrument you put in front of him.
Okay.
Well, he
Nice.
passed away like 2 years ago, my brother, at
Yeah.
52,
Understood.
Yeah,
Understood.
but he could have played any instrument you put in front of him.
Wow, that's nice, man. That's a gift within itself. I also
Yeah,
understand you
yeah,
just was into the pan for a while. Also.
yeah. Well, growing up in Pan, that's why some people tend to think I'm musically inclined. Like I could hear something and know what chord it is and what key it is. So
Okay.
all that came from being in Pan. I used to play for the Tropical Angel Harps. That's the main band
Yeah.
in Enterprise.
Yeah. Yeah. Angel House. Big.
And I also, big band, and also my father's band, New Age Trendsetters. I arranged for that band. I arranged music for the band a few times. My
Yeah.
brother used to arrange. When my father couldn't do it anymore, my brother took over. And when my brother was too busy, I took over.
Okay.
And now my brother's son is actually doing some of the arrangement for them.
Arrangement.
So
Nice.
yeah,
Nice. So
so yeah,
you.
it's a musical family.
Yeah. Nice. All right. So, like you said, you mentioned so you were in the hospital, and at that point, you was thinking about, your plans moving forward
Yeah,
because
what next?
what next? What happened next?
Actually, well, I had to go and teach myself some masonry because
Yeah.
singing reggae music in Trinidad was a kind of a no-no.
Oh yeah. At the
You
time,
know,
so you always had
time so
that. You always had that. So okay, I'm trying to kind of draw a time frame here. So when that incident happened with you at Angostura, did you really at that time? Well, you wasn't singing yet, really, but you had a passion
no.
for reggae.
Yeah, well, first off, I started singing at a tender age of 7, singing in
Oh,
my grandfather's choir. My
okay.
grandfather had a church, and I used to be one of the lead singers in the choir.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
was singing. I was introduced to singing and crowd of listening from a tender age.
Mhm.
So I've always been singing. Oh, yeah.
Now you're good, man. It happens. So you said you grew up in a church pretty much.
Yeah, I grew up in church, spiritual Mount Ararat Spiritual Baptist Church, the choir was mainly made up of my siblings and one or two other people from the
Community.
from the church community, So yeah, I got introduced to reggae music by my eldest brother.
Okay.
He went to New York for a while, and when he came back, he was telling me he came back with dreads and singing
Yeah,
this music. Huh? Yeah,
He came with a
he
big
came
bongo.
back with dreads. Yeah,
Yeah.
singing this music, but I always hearing him singing it, and that music just resonate with me. It was something that I felt that it was for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So of course, I asked him, what about this music? So he introduced me to a lot of music, reggae music, Spit in the Sky, Going Fall in Your Eye. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? You
Yeah.
Roy, I Roy, the greats. So. And then I fell in love with the music, and I've been doing reggae music since I was like maybe 12
12.
years.
Okay.
I was probably, yeah.
Yeah.
And I've been singing that music ever since.
Right.
And the thing about it is, I acknowledge from a young age that, hey, I'm not Jamaican, so
Yeah. Yeah.
I really spend time with the music, trying to perfect the way I put the words across and the meaning. And, cause soca is totally different. Soca, you could say something and mean something else. Reggae
Yeah.
music, you gotta be adamant with your message. You gotta be punctual. So yeah, I took a little time and really nurtured this reggae music, and then I started performing it, what I wrote, in the local clubs and on the streets, and yeah, enter
All
into
right.
the little.
Right.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. I want to kind of paint the picture, but I'm trying to connect from the moment you decide, like, you know what, this is what I want to do. This is the direction I'm heading. Because I guess at that point you said you did masonry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I did
Right.
masonry, but then so yeah, I'm getting to that point. I did masonry, so then I was, kind of being, they were saying, hey, the singing, because I would be
Why the
plastering a wall
plastic
while I'm
singing?
singing.
Why the plastic singing?
Stop singing. So, the supervisor came over to me and he said, man, you're a much better singer than a mason. He said, I could only give you a certain job to do.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
man, I keep you on the job because that singing keeps us up all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you see, you're learning the job here and you're doing really good. I'm not saying you're not doing good in masonry, but you see, I
Right.
think you should be a singer. So, well, I've been singing all my life. He said, no, he said, I think you should pursue singing as a career. And that was kind of the turning point there.
Okay.
He spoke to somebody who came and spoke to me, and then they took me to record sound, so.
You
And that's
remember
how
your
I met that's how I met my first manager, John Woodruff.
Okay.
Yeah.
You remember the first studio you went into and what you put
Oh
down at
yeah,
that time?
it was Ganja. The first song I ever recorded was Ganja Farmer.
Really?
That's the first song. Yeah, that song
Nah, man. So you telling me the first song you went into the studio and record just automatically became an international hit?
yeah, that's the first song I recorded in a studio ever, and hear myself back.
Wow.
Yeah,
Now
man. So
I never heard this before, man. I've interviewed quite a number of artists, and I've never heard one person say that the first song that they recorded, just out the gate, boom. That's
yeah,
crazy.
out of the gate, man. Yeah, and I think it had a lot to do with my spirituality and love for humanity. I would say, because that's why I've based my music on these things, spirituality, equal rights,
Yeah.
humanity. These are the things I base my music on, because these are the things that I feel, that inspired me to
Yeah.
be, what I am today. Yeah, so the studio, I was Songwave. I think it was Carl Beaver Henderson was the producer.
Okay.
Who came to the studio. We didn't even have a beat, but I used to be singing this song in all of the clubs and making a name for myself. And this song became a popular song on the island.
Okay.
So yeah, we recorded the song and we put it out. And the thing about it, we didn't put it out in Trinidad.
Really?
So I guess the strategy was to send it abroad and
Mm.
see how it stand up abroad because everyone home already like the song.
All right.
We
Put a pause right there before when you mentioned Senator Board. I'm thinking because I grew up in Trinity too. I grew up in Trinity. Most of my teenage years, I left there when I was 17, 18. So
yeah.
I remember some of these things because before the song was recorded, you used to freestyle that song. So on the ground level, the song was kind of bubbling, and then when you
Yeah.
right, and then when you actually recorded it, so that rhythm, a couple of things. Before we even get into the rhythm, how you came up with that concept of Ganja Farmer? How that came about?
Well, I used to be singing a song back in the days called Ganja Man,
Okay.
Ganja Man. They may never walk the road with I man spliff in me hand. Me
Yeah.
da want leave evidence for the girl. Babylon I sing again. Say,
Mm.
Ganja man. Hey man, say ganja. If you don't want to call it that, call it sesame. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
then on the islands they had this program called the weed eating program.
Serious?
So they had helicopters from America coming in and
I remember that.
they were
I remember that.
spraying fires and setting
Yeah.
off traps, and it
Yeah.
was a whole smoky, smelly scene in Trinidad because they're burning stuff everywhere. And then I saw a little thing on the TV where they interviewing one of the farmers, and he was like, "Man, this is our livelihood, and this is
Yeah.
how we send our kids to school,
Yeah.
and we just making a living. We're not trying to make no, you know what I'm saying?"
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I decided to incorporate that into the song that I was singing,
Makes sense.
Ganja Man.
Yeah.
And I reshaped the lyrics in
Yeah.
order to facilitate the farmers
Yeah.
into the song. Came up with the song Ganja Farmer.
Nice. And that rhythm, that beat, how that beat came along?
The beat, well, I sat down with Carl Beaver Henderson, right? Carl Beaver Henderson is a genius when it's come to making music. He's
Mm.
produced some of the biggest soca songs and the biggest hits in Trinidad.
Yeah.
Jahaji Bai,
Big
I mean, Trinidad was a boat, all
yeah.
these kind of big songs he produced. So, sitting down with him and he put in beats to certain, he constructing the beat.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he would turn to me and say, what would you like to hear? And I would, kind of sing something cause, like
Yeah.
so I would sing something like that, he would put it in,
Mhm.
and yeah, we came up with that rhythm is classical because, Carl Beaver Henderson, you
Mm.
wouldn't expect that kind of reggae
Yeah.
vibration from him with all that soca background, but I mean, he did a fantastic job.
Man.
And yeah, that rhythm is one to reckon with.
Yeah, because listen, man, the rhythm before the song even start, the rhythm alone is so unique. Even
Yeah.
with in the
It's,
beginning, the intro with the drum,
yeah, drum roll,
yeah,
exactly.
the drum roll, yeah, that's dope.
So yeah, so these imagine sitting down in the studio and constructing this, man, that was an epic day,
Yeah,
because as soon as the rhythm was finished,
mm,
the song was recorded.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? It was that easy. As soon as the rhythm was made, the song was recorded because I already had that ready.
yeah.
And people don't know this, but I tried getting in the Kiss Kitty Caravan with that song.
I was what I asked you, man. How come you wasn't one of them youths in the caravan out there in Marval? So you say you submitted or you went there?
I went to the song
Mm,
basement,
mm,
I auditioned, I
right.
recorded the song for them. And that's Carl Beaver Henderson was the producer there too.
Okay.
He produced all those songs. You know what
Mm,
I'm saying? And so that's why since the Kiss Kitty Caravan, he said he was always trying to figure out where I'm at, because he
yeah,
wanted to make that song into something after hearing it at the song basin.
yeah, yeah,
So it's always been Coda. Yeah, it's always been, on his agenda to produce that song.
yeah, yeah.
So when we did get together, it was like magic. We were both stoked to be on because I met him at the song basin, but never really
Okay.
knew who he was.
Yeah.
So we was kind of stoked to see. Well, I was glad to know that it's someone I knew that is
Yeah.
doing the music, and he was glad to know that someone actually brought me
Yeah.
to him when he was looking for me.
Right. Right. Right.
I didn't get in the caravan though. They said that the content of the song was too graphic, and
But yeah, at that time. Yeah, at that time.
and life.
Well, like I said, everything worked out the way it's supposed to work out. If you think about
Exactly, everything for its
it.
reason.
All right, so you guys send the song overseas, and what
Yeah, we
happened after
sent
that?
it to New York. We sent it to New York to be released,
Okay.
and send it to. It was a joint management company, Woodruff and Woodruff. So one
Okay.
was based in Trinidad, the other was based in New York.
So they were
So,
like the distributors.
huh?
They were like the distributors.
No, they were actually a management company.
Okay.
So it was Woodruff and Woodruff Management, and
Mhm.
they, put out the song, and just to see, how it would do on the grounds in New York. It was a runaway hit in New York.
Man, that rhythm I live.
Yeah, by the time the song came back to Trinidad, it was a huge success.
Yeah.
I was being requested, for travel now.
Yeah.
So I had
Yeah.
to, of course, leave all the work I'm doing and get,
Mhm.
get my moms to see about my kids, and
Yeah.
and make that journey, to what I call was a most rewarding career.
What was the first? What was the first place you performed professionally? In the film? New York.
New York, yeah.
What was that?
Big.
What was that reaction like? Was that the first time you're going to New York?
Yeah, that's my first
Uh-huh.
time leaving Trinidad, actually.
Oh, man, you gotta tell me, man. They gotta tell us, what was that experience like, man?
But coming from Trinidad and touching down in New York, it was like lights everywhere. I
Right.
think we got there at night, so then they
At this
took me
point,
to the.
at this
Yeah, they
point,
took
you're
me to the.
entertainer. So I wanna know your feeling, your reaction, and everything.
Man, I was overwhelmed because the bright lights and the tall buildings. I never seen a like of that before. You know what I'm saying? They were like, man, you could free up yourself. You would,
Yeah.
but I was like in a shell
Yeah.
because it's my first time out of the country, and I
Yeah.
didn't know what to expect with the crowd. But then when I got on the stage for the actual show, my
Mhm.
God, I couldn't even get a chance to sing that song. And they
Wow.
pulled it up like 5 or 6 times before I could actually get a chance to sing the song. So yeah, it was epic. I was so full with joy by the end of the evening. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't do anything. I was just too happy, and but one thing I could tell you, that
Mhm.
experience actually humbled me,
Oh, okay.
made me
Why
a
so?
little more, because I come from a place where people meet people, they greet people, say hi, but nobody
Yeah.
is not trying to scream after me and pull my foot off the stage, and that kind of that kind of a
Yeah.
response.
Mhm.
Go back into a shell and try to be a little more, you know
Yeah. Reserve.
conservative, quiet. It
Yeah.
made me think. It's a
Yeah.
blessing.
But the
Yeah.
reason why I ask is because a lot of times, stardom change people, or some people, like you said, it took you back to your shell. For some people, it changed them into a totally different individual.
I've seen it,
Like,
and I've
yeah.
seen it before. I've
Yeah.
seen it. Actually, I've seen it a lot. So, but for me, I think my spirituality keeps me grounded. I'm a man who live in the fear of the Almighty God. I don't try to do things that God will get upset with.
Yeah.
That being, I
Yeah.
always think that, for me, my spirituality had, actually take me along the way. If
Yeah.
I didn't have that, I probably not have gone so far. Cause reading the Bible I've read the Bible a few times back.
Okay.
So reading the Bible actually puts that love for humanity, for others, and that sense of not for yourself, but for do for others and not for yourself. So
Yeah.
puts that sense of, I mean, we naturally supposed to have that, but it's the Bible instills some things in you that if you
Yes.
carry it about in life, it takes you to different,
Hmm.
places that you might not have gone.
Yes.
It's something I always talk about. My music isn't about Marlon Asher.
Yeah.
It's not. It's about the way people perceive life and the way I would like to perceive life. as a better place for people, a healthier future. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A place where people can smile at each other and not worry about, what is going on around them in the world. I know a
Yes.
lot is going on in the world at the same time, but there's in our hearts and mind, we can find that place that, brings us back to, I want to help somebody else. I want
Mm.
to do good for somebody. I want, and
Yes.
it's not just something that, you know, an individual would take to heart, but something that would resonate with the world
Yes.
in whole, something that the world could see as, this is a way that we could, better ourselves.
Yes.
You know, see,
Yes.
so yeah, definitely.
Marlon,
Yeah, man.
listen, you had a bunch of hits after Ganja Farmer. I mean, the list goes on. I mean, strictly high grade, fit and strong, strong, plastic smile. With that one, so I mean, Shorty, what is it? You know the style, big tunes,
Yeah.
man. So from Trinidad, you remember the first time you went to Jamaica and performed?
Yeah, well, the first time let me give you, so this is how I know that my thing different from other people,
Yes.
because nothing that I think is going to happen at certain times is what happened. Because the first time I've been to Jamaica to perform, I was actually at a show in New America,
Yeah.
and I met with Munga Honorable.
Okay.
If you know the artist Munga
Yeah,
Honorable.
I know Munga.
Yeah,
Munga,
and
man.
he invited me to come to Jamaica, and he actually bought my ticket and everything and took me there.
Really?
Yeah, because he said, he was going to perform on a big stage show,
Yeah.
and we went down there, big motorcycle entourage. We on
Uh,
motorcycles, heading to the show, long
mm,
line of motorcycle. Get to the show, Munga gets on the stage.
yeah.
He said, after I do these 2 songs, I'ma call you up to
Mm,
perform your song. But by the time the man reached the second song, up comes Devabrat. And so if you ever see that skirmish with Munga Honorable and Devabrat,
yes.
where they had a little scuffle on stage, I was
Uh,
actually standing on the stage waiting to sing their
serious?
song.
I gotta
You gotta
YouTube that.
YouTube that, and just look on the stage. You'll see a really light green hoodie over
Uh,
somebody's head.
that
Really
was you.
light green hoodie. That was me,
Uh,
bro. I was just waiting to go up on the stage and sing my song, but it never happened,
that happened.
because we had to leave the venue. It was kind of after they come off the stage, they were still at it. So yeah, we had to leave. It was the first experience for me going to
Yeah.
Jamaica and realizing the way that passion that people have for the music actually made me not try to do too much,
Too
but
much.
to
Yeah.
walk in the path that was paved for me.
Yeah. Authentic self.
Yeah, yeah,
You went on tour with Sizzla.
yeah,
You
yeah.
also have music with Sizzla Kalanji, aka Dada. How did that relationship started? How did that relationship came together?
Well, me and Dada, that is the first entertainer that I think, decide, you know what, I'm a mentor, Marlon.
Yeah.
That's how it is for me, because I met Dada and instantly it was a click. We
Mm.
were, we have some of the same views, so we
Yeah.
could sit down and talk for hours.
Yeah.
He is
Yeah.
a very educated guy, so you could learn
Mm.
a lot from him.
Yes. Very knowledgeable.
I'm a very good listener. I learn a lot.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So me and Dada, we sit down and converse for long periods of time, because Dada, he has views that really matters in the world. And
Yeah.
and Dada is always about charitable works.
Yes.
Yeah, so these are things that relate to me. So from the time I met him, I kind of knew we would be good friends.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean, because
I
yeah,
understand.
we clicked off like immediately, and
Mm-hmm.
me and Dada, we had a show in the Caribbean islands, and it had a misunderstanding where one of the guys that was traveling with him kept knocking my door and
Mm-hmm.
trying to get me to go to Dada's room. He said
Yeah.
Dada is calling you. So when I got there, uh Dada was just calling me for a smoke, but the way how the guy was aggressive, it caused a skirmish with my manager.
Yeah.
Because he was like, "Oh, you can't treat him like that." But for me, it's
Yeah.
a humble thing to just walk over there and
Yeah.
deal with whatever. But my manager was like, he needs his rest and he got the show, so it caused a little thing. And Dada came out and diffused it immediately, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
since that, he was like, yo, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Marlon, nobody go bother Marlon. And so after that, he came to Trinidad for a show. But
Mhm.
I was late in traffic,
Yeah.
and they cut my slot,
Yeah.
saying, well, I can't perform because I missed my slot.
And
But
you from
Dada
Trinidad?
now, yeah,
Crazy.
he's the headliner.
Yeah.
Dada the headliner, and he was like, oh no, I'm not performing if Marlon not performing. This is Marlon place. Anywhere me see
Yeah.
Marlon, him give me full respect. So when me in him place, me want to give him that respect.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
see me?
Mhm.
And he said, well, I'm not performing. I was already leaving the venue when a car came driving down, stop us, and
Yeah.
say, "Oh, you got to perform, otherwise Dada wouldn't perform." And,
Yeah.
and the relationship strengthened from there.
Yeah. That's a whole
Because
different perspective.
when I got in there, they wanted to rush me up on the stage. I'll give him some time to compose himself. If me and Dada
Yeah.
smoke and reason a little bit, and then we go up on the stage. Yeah, the relationship kind of get knitted from that point on.
Yeah.
Dada would have a show in. If Dada have a show in Alaska, he would call me. Buy me your ticket. You're coming to Alaska next weekend. It's
That's
a
nice.
blessing to have a brother like Dada on your side.
True.
He
True.
just
And
took
he
me.
understand. And he understand the business too. You know.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So
Mhm.
so let me tell you, when I say Dada mentors me, let me share something with you. If I am, it's a one time Dada was like, Marlon, he called me up. He said, yeah, see, I need you to disappear from social media for like a year.
Yeah. Wow.
So I did it. And the reason was he was scrolling through some of my posts and realized that, how he call it, he realized some different parties of people trying
Yeah.
to get contact with me that he thinks I'm not supposed to be associated with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So he called me. I said, disappear for a year. Let them think you're not there anymore. And then you can
Yeah.
refresh your page. And it worked.
Keep your
They
value up.
stopped sending me, yeah, they stopped sending me messages. And, so I always say, I'm happy that someone actually was looking out for me in that sense, because I would not have been, I would not been able
Conscious of it.
to,
Yeah.
yeah, I would have even been conscious of this is going on, and I would have
Yeah.
been answering everybody and trying to interact with everybody, and that already knew what was going on, so he kind of stopped it.
Yeah.
So
You understand.
so,
Mhm.
yeah, I disappeared from the social media for like a year, and then I came back on with a refresh page.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Now you've been all over the world, countless countries, cities, so forth. What's the one place you perform where you got on the stage and it's like, wow, I can't believe I'm here. I made it this far as a youth, you know?
Well, I've been to, I was a young guy when I went to Africa. I was like
Mhm.
24, 25 around there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, that was an experience because, yeah, if I give you some experience with Marlon Asher, you'll be shocked. The first, all right, let's talk some Africa. The first time I've been to Africa,
Yes. Yes.
I did a song called My Country with a guy called Henry Tiganye
Okay.
of Uganda. And the song became a local African hit,
Yes.
#1 for 8 weeks on their
Wow.
charts, right? And the guy who had the #1 song before that, he
Mhm.
was like, man, so you did a song with Marlon Asher and it became #1. So I'm gonna bring him to Uganda and perform with him and get back my ratings. So the guy
Yeah.
spent his own money,
Yeah.
fly me to Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got there, the guy who is now the president of Uganda,
Yes.
he was campaigning and he was using the song as his campaign song.
Okay.
So he was the opposition. So when
Mm.
I get to Uganda, first time land in Uganda,
Yes.
the now president, he swooped me up with a big long entourage behind us and drive us
Uh,
to this rally
mhm.
where Henry Tiganye was performing the song on stage, and they rushed me up on the stage and said, perform the
Uh,
song with him.
yeah.
Well, I thought was I'm first time here, so I'm thinking, all right, these are the people who brought me here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Maybe I should sing the song. So I sang the song with a guy, not realizing that it's the other guy who brought me. So by the time I wake up in the morning, the guy doing an interview on the radio, and the guy just stand up and say, "Kill Marlon Asher and his manager,"
What?
on the radio.
Serious?
On the radio. So when the guy said that, immediately we had to run from Uganda to Kenya. We drove
Yeah.
4 days, night into day into night, with them chasing us.
For real?
They only stop. Yeah, they only stop when we get to the borders of Kenya, because they couldn't
Yeah.
pass across to follow
Yeah.
us. My manager, she had an American passport, so they let us
Yeah.
pass through without any problems, but could not follow us, and that's how we got safe. Because there was before we fled, there was a little skirmish with the security of the hotel wing and
Yeah.
the villagers from. He was actually a chief in a village
Yep.
in Africa. There are young chiefs in Africa. When you hear chief, is not always an old person. Henry
Yeah.
Tiganya is a prince of a village, and when we walking on the street, people kissing his foot, and he's like, "No, no, don't do it,"
Yeah.
because he's a new generation kind of, he don't want
Yeah.
his feet always kissed by his subjects. So
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, we had to flee from Kenya, from Uganda to Kenya.
Uh-huh.
It took us like
Uh-huh.
4 days, night into day into night. When we got there, this story has a good twist to it. Because when we
Yeah.
got there, we were walking on the street, and this guy was like, "Oh, is that Marlon Asher? Is that the
Yeah.
Ganja Farmer?" He was a professional footballer, and he took us on a nice tour around Kenya,
Yeah.
safari, shopping. And then while that happened, the guy actually won the presidency.
Wow. Wow.
So he sent a plane to Kenya, pick us up, fly us back to Uganda.
Yeah.
I make the guy apologize publicly, and then
Mm-hmm.
he told me, you have to do his show to make
Yeah.
it officially, to make it
You,
all right.
you,
So
you wasn't nervous
anytime I go
about
to Uganda,
yeah.
I've got 4 bodyguards that meets me at the airport. They're
Serious?
always there once I get to Uganda.
Yeah.
I just wonder how you guys know I'm coming,
Yeah.
because they're just always there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been there 5 times now, and they're just waiting at the. So it's they actually. The last time I've been there, one of them traveled for 3 days to get to me, because he was on the front line. They were at war, and he was
Yeah.
on the front line. And then the president called him out of there to come hang with me. So yeah,
You know,
so I've had some experience in life where I'm supposed to be a humble man.
and I'm like, I'm in all, man.
Yeah.
Africa. I had the opportunity to travel to Africa, and I always tell people, man, Africa is one of those places you have to experience, especially as a Caribbean person, once in your life. But there's so many similarities in Africa.
Oh my God, bro.
Mm,
There is no way that I wouldn't be going to Africa. I've been to Africa like 5 or 6 times now.
yeah.
And every time I go to Africa, it's a new experience.
Yeah.
Let me just
Yeah.
put it that way. There is nothing that you can go and you see this, and when you come back, Africa is always developing too. Something new is always happening. And that's
Mhm.
something I really like about Africa, man. It's something that, people should really experience for themselves, and not just take from here, say, and mouth say.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
True. Nice.
Wonderful place.
Africa. What about the UK? There's some big festivals out there in the UK. What's one of the largest one you performed?
Well, I just had a 5-page spread in the European Festival Guide. I had
Okay.
like a 5-page spread uh, in that, and I've been to
Mhm.
Europe, a lot. My goal is to get onto some of those big festivals, the Rotterdam. My goal, I think,
That's crazy. Yeah.
come January next year, I've got a tour of Europe. Come January next year
Okay.
with Kez, a guy called Kez Namde. Yeah, so Europe is a place that, I haven't conquered, but I have been.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I did
Nice.
a nice tour of Germany, Mannheim, Stuttgart, Helsinki. I did a good, it was a bullet train tour.
Okay.
So by night we perform, and by day we go by bullet train.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah, that was a nice experience too.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Man, some nice life in the making. If you want to be an entertainer, it's a nice life in the making. But you have to be, grounded, and You have to really have a foundation.
Yes.
I like to think my foundation is my spiritual background,
Yes. Yes.
because whenever I travel, I take that with me. I don't just travel as a wayward kind of person. I travel with the vibes of the Almighty on my mind. So yeah, it's always
Yeah.
a blessing, too. Yeah.
What's your what's your opinion or your view on music currently coming out of Trinidad? Of course you had the movement
Well,
of
first thing,
Trinidad over the years. Go ahead.
first thing that I would like to say is music is a very powerful tool. It can reach, it can break barriers and, reach to new horizons even. So the music that one creates should definitely, have meaning in the content and not just, sing because I could put my vocal to a beat and make a song.
Yes.
In Trinidad right now, I've told it to many of them, they have a huge opportunity to, you know, to burst onto the scene.
Yeah.
Huge opportunity to burst onto the scene. But they're limiting themselves by the content that they're creating. Because, not everybody want to hear about violence. Not everybody want to hear about guns. Not
Mm-hmm.
everybody want to hear about people dying and how they're gonna die.
Right.
So yeah, what I think is I love the music that is coming out of Trinidad, but I don't really support the content.
Okay. Okay.
I love the fact that the youths have something of their own.
Yes.
Not that they try like something I did and they're trying it. No,
Yes.
this is something they created for themselves. I love that fact. But
Yes.
I always tell them, if you wanted to burst onto the scene, you got to have that content that is that the world could appreciate and not just yourself.
Yes. Yes. Not just a
You
community.
can't just sing music to please yourself and your community. You got to broaden your horizon where it comes to. Remember, the tool is a powerful tool. It's
Yeah.
not just, hey, horse, come off from there. I don't know where that snake went. He disappeared on me.
Hey there, podcast lovers. You know that feeling when you discover something amazing and can't wait to share it? Well, that's exactly what I'm experiencing right now with the Alonzo Bash podcast. Hit that subscribe button, leave a review on your favorite episode, and spread the word to your friends and family. So what are you waiting for? Let's make Alonzo Bash the next big thing in podcasting.
Because the song might be offensive to somebody in the next village
That is true.
because of your content. So yeah, I love the fact that they have their own, but I
Yeah.
think they should really focus on what the content they want to put out there. That's if they want that as a career. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Yeah.
Since the music in Trinidad came out, I saw a couple artists get killed.
Yeah. Yeah.
When that
Unfortunately.
unfortunately, that never used to be in your artist in your country, and you being elevated by the masses
Yeah.
and praised by your friends and foes. See what
Yes.
I'm saying? And that's not what's happening with their music. Their music is just for a group, and
Yeah.
sometimes it's just a small group. It's just I think that even the producers that putting out the music should be more knowledgeable, because the youths are not the producers. They're doing the music, but they are not the ones producing it. The
Mm-hmm.
people producing it are elders like myself and like yourself, people who have knowledge about the music.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just can't blame the youths alone. I just think it's the content that I'll put this on.
Yeah. Well, what would you say the argument? Some people might say, well, that might be so, but as far as the numbers, social media, YouTube, Spotify, whatnot, we have 1 million views and streams and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So the man might say,
Yes, I
why should
understand.
why I should say I'm conscious and get 10 views when I could say, gunman this, gunman that, and get 1 million? What's your opinion on that?
Well, my opinion is you get 1 million views with the gunman thing, but with the conscious 10 views, you get 10 shows.
Yeah.
1 million views, you get no show because you can't move from where it is.
Yeah, true. You can't travel with that.
Yeah, travel nowhere. But the man with 10 views, he have 10 show because the views come from 10 different places.
Yeah, true. That's a good perspective. Good
Yeah,
perspective.
man, because me know about views. Views is come with, I mean, we all know how to create a buzz.
Yeah.
And if you're buzzing, you will get views.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, but if you're not making shows, if you're not doing shows as an artist or creating content that will generate for you in the future, then it's not really a career that you could be, that will be lucrative to you. It will just
Yeah.
be a hobby.
True.
It'll just come like a hobby, something that you do because you can do it. But if you want to pursue the business aspect of music, you will try to put out things that people would purchase.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
I don't get me wrong. I love the music in Trinidad, but it's just the content that is keeping them stagnant. And
Yeah. No
if they
balance.
don't address, yeah, if they don't, then it's just gonna be something that fades away. That music is gonna fade away if they can generate from it.
No. Fish
I
it.
said it's expensive to create an album.
Yeah.
If you create an album with content that won't sell, then you can't get no returns, and the producers wouldn't want to produce you no more, and it could be a whole lot of things,
Yeah. Then the fade away.
Yeah, exactly.
We just lost two, of course, reggae ambassadors, Coco T and Determined.
Yeah.
Did you know these artists? You had a relationship with them or anything like that?
Yeah.
Mm.
I had a close relationship with Determined.
Okay.
Actually, just left him in Trinidad. When I last visited Trinidad, I was actually hanging with him, and
Okay.
we were in band practice together, and
Yeah.
he was just talking about creating a song together, and yeah.
Yeah.
So I know him personally. Coco T, I've met him a few times, just
Okay.
by respect and for
Yeah.
the artist himself. I kind of never, when I see Coco T anywhere, I never really pushed myself up to him. I always give him that room to be himself because I always looked up to him as an artist growing up. So
Yeah.
I'm actually a fan of Coco T. So you know what I'm saying? I always think yo, let that man have his space. That man
Yeah.
has so much to deal with.
Yeah. True.
And
Now,
Determined was
well,
a good bridge.
let's talk about Determined because I never met Determined, and of course, his work speaks for himself. So I'm gonna talk through you to kind of tell folks who Determined was as a person.
Well, personally for me, Determined was, for the time I've known him, a good brother. He
Yeah.
had a good heart. He always talked about, making music that matters.
Yes.
And, he's a revolutionist. He
Mm-hmm.
he likes to make music that help people, excel in
Yes.
whatever they do. Wrong with that horse bike? Go and put your he was always a straightforward person too. He won't determine always if he said it's white, it's white.
Yeah.
He was always straightforward. And I like that about the man, because he never paint no picture for me. He always say it as it is. If it's
Yeah.
graphic, it's graphic. If it's not, it's not.
Yeah.
The man was he was a good brother to me. I won't say that. I won't lie to you. I've known him. He frequented in Trinidad a lot too.
Yeah.
Because yeah, it's a place close to him. Determined was a legend. I put him amongst the greats. For
Yeah,
his
I
men.
remember. Yeah, he definitely left a mark. I remember
Yeah,
one time we did a show together in Trinidad. I think it was Point Fortin. Yeah.
yeah, we just did a show down there. That was a good show. He was kind of struggling with his voice. His
Okay.
vocals, but he was electrifying on the stage, and
Yeah.
he had less to do because the crowd, he only had hits to sing. Everybody
Mm,
was kind of singing loud, and
yeah.
so, but him of himself, he's an electrifying performer, bro. I must say that.
Man, that's some hits, man.
Yeah,
I
he
and
has a
I.
man. He'll be missed. Yeah, he'll be missed. I'm sure he'll be missed. He got a lot of energy on stage.
Yeah. I'm Marlon, man.
Yeah.
This at this point, man, I'm just gonna open up the floor. There's anything you want to share or add? I know you got some new music coming out. I know you also just released was it a single or album you released last year?
Album is dropping at the end of June, and I'm releasing songs from the album up
Mm-hmm.
until I reach.
Mm.
So yeah, I just released a song called Revolution. My songs is my new songs on my new album is kind of geared towards spirituality, humanity, equal rights and justice. Not for me, but
Yes.
these are the things that I think the world is kind of in need of. And in this time, a lot of things going on in the world, but for ourselves individually, we can find a place where, and revolution doesn't have to mean you fight against authority, or it could be, within oneself.
Yes.
The thing that would make your life better, things that would make you feel a little more, happy about doing things for others. And yeah, so the new album is kind of geared towards, people finding that place. And, music on the whole is, as I say, is very powerful. So I try to, I try to make my music so, the world can relate to it. And it's not, like I say, it's not about me. It's about the things that the world necessarily might, cling to.
Yes.
I'm actually releasing my new album end of June. It's
Okay.
called Safe. Yeah, it's got 13 tracks, and I've got like 12 videos also. Called this album, we wanted to have visual with audio and not just audio. So the content is geared towards, showing the world what life could be, showing the world what we go through, showing, So yeah,
Yes.
this album, I think it's gonna be well received, and I just want to say to, thanks to the, the fans and everybody involved in getting, the music right. Vast Production, Don Corleone, Billy Keys, who
A
wrote
producer.
most of the songs. Yeah, man, it was a big, group effort, and I just want to say thanks to everybody that was a part of it.
Yes. Any features on the album?
Yes, the album is featured Taurus Riley Capleton,
Okay. Wow.
Sizzla, Luciano,
Yeah.
Massacre, J Boogs, Slightly Stupid. Yes, I've got. This album is kind of a
You
deal,
hit this on there, man.
Yeah, some heavy hitters, Capleton and Taurus Riley, Diamonds and Gold.
Yeah.
Sizzla, Never See Us Fall.
Yes.
Luciano, Give Praise.
Mm.
J Boogs, I got J Boogs. We got a little love song that we created together. We just shot the video, like I just went to Hawaii like a week ago, and we
Wow.
shot that
Nice.
video.
Mm.
Yeah, so a lot of things in the making, and
Yeah.
I do want the people to know that Marlon Asher will definitely be making music,
Yeah.
calm and keep the people loyal to themselves in this time.
Yes.
Healthy living, take care of the children, make sure the sick is nourished. You know what I mean? These are the things that my grandfather instilled in me, and these are the things that I try to, portray to the world so that, somebody who is in need may
Yes.
have some kind of comfort.
Yes. For
Yeah,
sure.
thanks.
You also in the marijuana business as well?
Yes, I've actually partnered with James Loud
Yes.
from James Loud Genetics, and we have a company called Ganja Farmer Seeds.
Okay.
My wife is into medical marijuana, CBD and stuff. So yeah, so we kind of, well known in the industry
Yes.
where it comes to cannabis and medical cannabis.
Okay. So the ganja farmer seed, is that something that's sold retail or that's a wholesale type thing?
I sell wholesale, retail.
Okay.
I haven't put out any seeds this year, but you can, if you want to check the seeds out, you can go to Seeds Here Now
Okay.
or Dagger.love.
Daga.love.
Yeah, that's the 2 seed distribution company that has my seeds in their catalog.
Okay. Nice.
And you just type in Ganja Farmer Seed and you can see the whole. I had a bestseller called Ganja Farmer OG,
Okay.
but it's kind of a hard strain to maintain because of the fact that the original OG strain has kind of gotten watered down.
Okay.
So now the OG that we breed, we mix it with some gelato and change up the vibes of it. It's still
Wow.
potent and strong, but now we adding flavor and things to it. So yeah. So in the near, maybe next year we're gonna put out some seed. This year, my business partner and I had some other things going on, so we didn't really put out no seed. We did pheno hunt and stuff, and we have seeds to put out, but we didn't put it out. So hopefully things would smooth out on his side, and I made a move to Costa Rica, so I gotta figure out how to interact with him on a daily, and
Yes.
yeah, we'll be putting out some seeds soon.
Well, let me ask you that. You mentioned Costa Rica, and obviously you're out in the farm right now. I see you got the horse, you got the goat and stuff like that. Real farmer life.
Real farmer life.
What made you decide to move to Costa Rica?
Well, my wife always talking about moving to Costa Rica, but then we had a visit here.
Okay.
And when I visited with her, that's when I knew, let's move to Costa Rica. This is, this is the greenery, the nature, the fresh oxygen, something that, it's hard to come by in this time. Especially you're living in city and it's always smog. And one of the main reason why we moved here, because we have a now 4-year-old daughter. She developed some breathing difficulties in California. So we had to figure out how to get her to a place where she could have fresh oxygen on a regular. So far we've been here and she's been breathing like an angel, So that's how she developed that issue, So we had to. Then we moved to Santa Cruz and the air was kind of too cold for her. So then we had to find something tropical. And we, when we came here for a visit and realized that she was breathing properly, we decided, let's keep her here for a while and see what happens. And it's been good to her.
Yeah, I heard a lot of good things about Costa Rica, man. A lot of good things. There's also a huge West Indian, I should say Caribbean.
There's a Caribbean side and a Pacific side. Yeah, definitely. So there's a huge market for music over here too.
Yeah.
I've yet to tap into it, but I know from other artists who live in here calling me and saying, this is a place that you could just tour year round. So
And everything is in that time,
Yes, exactly.
Well, Marlon, man, give thanks, man, for taking time out your busy schedule. Much appreciation. That's, man, moving forward, man. Definitely want to give you flowers, man. And over the years, like I said, as a youth, I remember growing up in Trinidad. When you bust, as I say, you just kind of took that that Trinity flag all over the world with Ganja Farmer. Everybody, listen, anywhere you go in the world, people know the song. And it's one thing when they know the song, but they actually know the artist.
Who is that?
Yeah, Marlon.
Whole name, yeah. Thanks, I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. So give thanks and look forward to bigger and better things.
Give thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yes, sir.
Yep, respect.
Much love and respect.
I'm a ganja planter. Call me the ganja farmer. Deep down in the earth, me put the ganja. Babylon come and light it at a fire, me a chant. Yes, I'm a ganja planter. Call me the ganja farmer. Deep down in the earth, me put the ganja. Babylon come, yo. Big stinking helicopter flow through the air. With them call it weed eater. Them never did it when me was out in water, or when me did them blind fertilizer. Yet out of the sky them spitting fire, and I'm a little youth man with a hot temper. Me dig up me stinking rocket launcher, and in all the air this was the helicopter me a chant. Yes, I'm a ganja planter. Call me the ganja farmer. Deep down in the earth when me put the ganja. Babylon come a lot it at a fire me a chant. Yes, I'm a ganja planter. Call me the ganja farmer. Deep down in the earth when me put the ganja. Babylon come, tuna man. True Jaja bless I with no for good vibes man. And true me have the hardest set of ganja in the land. Make doctors get no meditation, and so them coulda give it to them sick patient. Make chemists get no meditation, and so them coulda brew new medication. Make singers get some inspiration, and so them coulda spread your message on the land me a chant. Yes, I'm a ganja planter. Call me the ganja farmer. Deep down in the earth when me put the ganja. Babylon come a light it at a fire me a chant. Yes, I'm a ganja planter. Call me the ganja farmer. Deep down in the earth when me put the ganja. Babylon come, watch out. Come and say ganja, 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 ganja. If you don't want to call it that, call it sensimania. If you don't want to call it that, call it marijuana. If you don't want to call it that, call it the indica. And from me bun it in a chalice and rush it a paper. Lord, see me love me ganja. Some ganja planter. Call me the ganja farmer. Deep down in the earth, me put the ganja. Babylon come and light it at a fire, me a turn on. Yes, I'm a ganja planter. Call me the ganja farmer. Deep down in the earth, me put the ganja. Babylon come. Well, it's like 10,000 Babylon in one blue van. Welcome Chester on this small damn ganja land. 10,000 Babylon in one blue van. Welcome Chester on this. Yo, hi. Ganja planter, call me the farmer. Deep down in the earth, me putting ganja. Me ganja, ganja, me ganja. Loud the ganja, ganja, ganja. Me ganja, ganja, ganja. Loud the ganja. Ganja, 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 loud ganja, 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 ganja.